This program is powered by AIM Employers Association and Ogletree Deacons, a Feature Group USA production.
Hello, everybody. I'm Phil Brandt, President and CEO at AIM Employers Association. On last week's show, we covered Phase 1, Just Try It. Today, we build on that with Phase 2, Align It. Strap in. I'm about to get fired up on This Week at Work.
This Week at Work is the only show to pack workplace news, practical HR solutions, and timely insights into every 30-minute episode.
This tech isn't just about speed, it's about strategy. The Phase 1 is let's use it. Then Phase 2 is understanding how it can be used by your organization. And that would be where you create your own chatbot. You start to understand what it can be good for and what it's not so good at. And then you can learn ways to figure out, how do I use this every day to build efficiency into the job? And that's really where we're trying to get to. These types of things are very useful that can help small teams perform faster and better.
Download today's key takeaways and spark change in your workplace. All this and more on This Week at Work.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This is AI in HR Week, and today our guest is Lauren Patel. Lauren is AIM's only AI and A, or let me say that again. Lauren is AIM's mastermind behind our AI and HR Week program. And yesterday, she had a fantastic program with AI versus AI. Who is hiring who? Lauren, tell us a little bit about your program yesterday, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be on this side of the screen. So our program yesterday was really exciting. We did a webinar yesterday morning, really trying to give our recruiters the other side of the table. So we launched AI and HR Week last year, last July. We're back again for a second year, and it's amazing how the tables have turned from how can I, as an HR professional or a recruiter, use AI to do just my daily stuff to now, okay, candidates are using it. What do I do? And what are the implications of us both using it? So it was a really exciting program. There was a lot of content packed into 90 minutes. So we're glad we were able to put that on for our members.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching you develop the content and dig in. And I know the learning that occurred yesterday was phenomenal. Some of the initial feedback is really positive. Tell us, was there anything in particular that maybe the participants in the program were most surprised about or excited about?
I think the two things that are most surprising that I was able to share and bring to the table was about how applicants are using AI, not just to chat GPT their resumes. We know what's going on, it's happening, it's fine. But what they're doing is now deploying agents or bots to go out and do the bidding for them, if we will. They're using these agents to go in and actually mass apply. So we're seeing these bots be able to do hundreds of applications in just a few hours, something that a human could not do on their own without obvious support. I think the other thing that people were really surprised about was how easy it is to get an AI agent into a live interview. Whether it's a phone screening or a virtual interview, we are bringing live AI bots into that room as candidates. They're bringing that in and they're giving them real-time answers. They can be specific, they can be general, depends on how AI savvy that user is, but it is pretty eye-opening to see just how far in it's gotten into the hiring and recruiting process.
Yeah, it's fascinating, I think might be the right word. And when I first heard and saw your presentation, I got a sneak preview of it and we had some great conversation. My very first emotional response was, "Oh my God, this is horrible." And then as I started to think about it and unpackage it a little bit, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just the type of person you want to have working for you, right? So if I'm thinking about somebody who is invested in a program to apply to jobs across the country or wherever their geographic preference may be, if they have one, they may not if they're working from home. And they apply to hundreds of jobs almost simultaneously every given day as they come online. And I'm like, well, is that good or bad? Well, that's a clever person for one, right?
Mhm.
Using clever technology. But the problem may be they have no information or knowledge really about the company. And I think that's where we get concerned as people who are screening and vetting applicants is, does this person really want this job? And the tides have changed. So it's no longer we're using AI tools to help us interview. People are using AI tools to interview, which is really a different place to be in. I think it's a fantastic program. I applaud you for putting it together. I learned a ton by participating in the demo, and I would encourage everyone to go onto AIM's site and check that out. That program should be up later today, if not first thing tomorrow, in our on-demand section of our website. Check it out. What's the title again, Lauren, so they can find it easily?
Yep, it is AI versus AI. Who's really recruiting whom? So you'll find that on there, and you can access that again, as Phil said, later today or tomorrow through our on-demand section.
All right. And behind the scenes, Lauren, you've also been a big part of helping us launch this week's topic, which is really part two for us, which is we're going to launch Aaime Hart. This is AIM's HR or AIM's AI HR assistant, if you want to think of her that way. And we have designed Aaime just for you, and that gets me fired up. All right, Lauren. So when we think about Aaime Hart, what and who is Aaime Hart? We've given her a name. The name's obvious to me as we, work in the business of AIM, Employers Association. So AIM, Aaime, I get it. Hart, HR, Hart, all that makes sense. But what is Aaime Hart, or who is Aaime Hart?
So Aaime Hart is an HR expertly trained AIM resource material supported chatbot. So she was developed using OpenAI, also known as ChatGPT for our basic users. And she is really an opportunity for our members and non-members, I think that's really important to talk about, to engage with support, get information, get support. But the difference between what Aaime is doing and what we maybe have in some other places, like just going straight to a Chat GPT or a Gemini or Copilot, is she is grounded in reliable, vetted sources. So we have put into her information from AIM, from a few of our big benchmark surveys, which is a fantastic member benefit. But we've also directed her to trusted sites like the DOL, labor of the Bureau of Statistics
Yep.
websites. So we try to make sure that everything that we are feeding her and training her on are things that are reliable tools for our members.
So one of the number one issues that every HR, I won't say every, but most HR professionals tell me about when we're talking is they really have really two issues. One um, is the information we're getting from our AI chatbot or our LLM, Chat GPT, Grok, all Gemini, all these sources. Is it reliable data? And for that reason, I know that's one of the reasons why we designed Aaime Hart the way that we did, is we wanted people, because we know they're going to use Chat GPT, and they should be using it, but we want them to know the information they're getting is reliable. And this is one step better than just going into Chat GPT and typing in questions and getting information from anywhere. This Aaime is, as they say, been trained and built upon our trusted information to help you know that the information that you're getting is a step more trustworthy than just going to the open source of chat. That's exciting, right? Because that's helping us address one of our fears, and this is how we're aligning AI at AIM for your benefit, is so that you can feel more comfortable with the information, and then you have the resource. The other thing I like about what Aaime Hart allows you to do is there's a level of security built in that she doesn't have the memory. right?
Mhm.
So she's not going to remember you or me or anyone that comes in like maybe a chat GPT will or the previous questions. So that could be a downside or an upside depending on how you're looking at it. But we wanted to make sure that every time you went in and worked with Amy, you kind of have to give her a little bit of data. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. Um, because Amy is going to rely on you to guide her. And what we have found is that, when you work with AI technology such as Aaime Hart, really one technology without the human interaction today is just not reliable enough. It's not good enough. What we anticipate with Amy is that you work with Amy hand in glove, and the combined effort of you and Amy is going to produce just a phenomenal product. And just a little bit later on today, we're going to try that out. So, Lauren, are you ready to answer? Just help me get through a few questions here with Aaime Hart. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, in a basic sense, what is it that makes Amy different from Chat GPT?
So while it's used in the same platform, so if you are familiar with any chatbot, you know you've kind of been in one, they sort of operate the same, right? I can put a prompt into the box. Because we've trained her to really focus in on those HR tasks, she already has that HR hat on. She's ready to cooperate, help, support, and strategize. I think that's where we've been focusing this week in AI and HR week is let's move beyond just the tactical and a little bit more into the strategic. So we've programmed her to think like that top level HR exec so that we can help move everyone to that strategic thinking level, which we all want to do, but sometimes feel burnt in that task oriented, the tactical work. So she is designed to help us get there. We've again uploaded her with the data that's specific to HR. So while our bots like ChatGPT or Grok or whichever you're using can go out and find anything, we've said these are the sources that HR people like, these are the sources that they can trust. Take your knowledge, take your practices, and utilize these sources to help guide them.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic description of kind of the knowledge bank that she's going to reference first before.
Mhm.
And if she wasn't to find anything, then she'll go out and still reference as Chat GPT would. So you're really getting the best of both worlds, I think, when you use Amy in that space. All right. Another question I have here, what type of guidance is Amy best equipped to handle?
Great question. So, we actually had some members try her out and have provided us with some feedback as well. So, here would be the things that I say Amy does a really fantastic job at. If you are looking to kind of understand what's going on with compliance, she can give you quick updates. If you have information from like a survey that you're looking to help interpret, she's great at that. Need help with messaging? She's a pro. She can also help you to, I'm finding in the responses as we use her, if you're coming to her with a project, she can help to back it up with data. So yesterday was Wednesday for AI and HR week. We talked about how HR can prove the ROI. It's an acronym day, right? So she's really good at helping us tie what we're doing back to business results. She's great with strategy. She's great with development. Really, the things that HR does on a day in, day out basis, she does a fantastic job with. I would say the things to just keep in mind as you're using her is though ChatGPT 4 has passed the bar, she's not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. And sometimes she struggles with law interpretation. But if we're talking about compliance or policies, for most of what we would be using that doesn't require that lawyer on the clock, if we could say, in Bert's absence this week, she does a really great job with that. Live coaching might be a little bit hit or miss, but strategic planning for coaching, she'd be great at. So again, a few limitations, but you might just get in and try and see how far you can go. That is one of our prompts to everyone this week is just take it one step further than what you're used to see maybe what's behind the curtain a little bit further than your usual AI journey.
Yeah, and I think all of us recognize that today we still have to be careful with seeking legal advice or following the instruction of any AI just on the merit of what it provides. There's an element of, look, you have to still apply human intervention and intuition into this and put our best foot forward with these tools. But when I find that I've done that, here's what I think my response is more times than not. And whether it's right or wrong, but it's a little silly, I'm always going, oh, thank you, Amy, right? In the testing, I found myself thanking her like, she's a human being for that. And there's no need to do that. Just give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But it really does get to be that level of detail that I can appreciate the thinking and how quick that it comes out. But now having it tied to that reliable bank of knowledge, 125 years of experience, gives HR professionals, business owners, a really good tool that they can trust one step further. And then as we continue to develop and train Amy, based on the feedback that we get and the information that becomes available, she's only going to grow in her abilities and experience. It's going to be fantastic. What are some of the limits and safeguards in place when using Amy?
So I think, and we have a prompt up on the screen, so when I hop on and do a demo in just a couple minutes, you'll see there. Any sort of information you wouldn't want out in the wild, we don't want to put it in there. This is just a basic AI practice. So if I am, let's say, pulling aspects of an employee record, if you don't want names in there, social security numbers, addresses, any of that really personal information, we want to leave it out. I know here at AIM, we use AI often, a lot of us in many different capacities, many different tools, but that is something that we can still use it safely without providing a lot of personal or member information. So we want to keep those safeguards in place. Again, once we get to that legal space, you're going to reach a point if you're working on a particular exercise that you might need to turn to legal advice. She's not legal advice, so just keep that in mind. I do think one of the opportunities that we have with Amy is that because she does not have memory, she does not
Yeah.
retain anything that you have not shared with her in that specific chat. It's a great opportunity for us to work on our prompting. So we have to give a little bit more context. We have to say, I'm looking for this type of result with these particular guardrails. Do this, don't do that. It's an opportunity for us as HR professionals and AI users to improve our prompting so we get better results back. So if you're looking for help on that, go back to Monday's resource guide. We've got it all laid out in there to help you with your prompting. We really did try to think of everything to help you utilize her as best you possibly can and in safe ways.
Yeah. Prompting is so important, and we can talk about that when we get into the demo phase here. But the better question or the better position I can make my statement or ask my question to the AI, the better response that I get. And I think what many people get confused on is I'm going to ask it one question and that's my response instead of drilling down and really putting it in place through conversation style approach, just like you and I would if we were problem solving something, and then applying our human into intervention into that really does help produce a great product on that. All right, so next week, just a little bit of teaser, we're going to talk about how you integrate it and deploy it at scale. But before that, you can watch the AI versus AI, who's really hiring whom on demand. You can go to the AIM website. Again, that's going to be up later today for you to be able to watch that. It's a great program. I will tell you now, I was blown away by some of the things and tools that are out there that people are using and deploying, and I had no idea how fast and how far-reaching technology is going, not just on the employer side, but on the employee side or the candidate side. And that is just fascinating, and you're going to have to develop your own mind whether you like that or you don't like it. But either way, it's happening and you should be aware of it. And it's a great program. Lauren, again, I applaud you for putting that together. Let's see here, Lauren. Are you ready to do some prompts and show Amy her talents and abilities a little bit here?
Yes, I'm ready if we are.
I am. Let's do that. So you're going to take the prompts from your AI HR week guides. Is that correct?
Yes. So what we are going to do right now is I have come over a couple of things. Let me show everybody where it's at. So on AIM's website, AAIMEA.org, you've got a second tab here where you can come in and meet Aaime Hart. So this tells a little bit about her, gives you some of the examples of what she does a really great job with. We've even got some little sample prompts in here that you can try. But once I come in and launch her and sign into my OpenAI ChatGPT account, this is what it looks like. So it operates within ChatGPT. We can see it all looks very familiar here for those who are avid users. And once you've used her, she will continue to appear over here in her side panel. So you can come in, access her, chat with her whenever you've got questions, thoughts, needing to strategize. And Phil, I love your point about this becomes a conversation. It's almost embarrassing to admit, especially with my boss on the call, that ChatGPT, Aaime Hart, she's one of my best cohorts. She is my strategist. She's my pal who's up at 2 a.m. when a thought pops into my mind. So use her in that way, very conversational style. She's easy to chat with, and she can help you. So the prompts that we're going to be using today are samples directly from the materials we've been sharing this week at AI and HR Week here at AIM. So back onto the AIM website for just a second. Right next to Aaime Hart for right now is this AI and HR Week tab. We will be probably moving that around later in the year, but for now it's up here and easily available for you to do. And we are coming into these resource guides. Today I'm going to be utilizing Monday's resource guide and Tuesday's resource guide. And I am going to literally copy and paste the prompts directly from these guides that we sent out to our members and anyone who opted into the week so that we can get an idea of what Aaime can do. So on Monday, what we really focused on is how do I move from that tactical to that strategic HR leader? And what we're really focusing on today is just getting a feel for Aaime Hart, and we're going to give her a few of these beginner prompts. So we've taken the confusion and the hurdle to get started out. Aaime is free. You just need to sign into your OpenAI account, get into Aaime Hart, and I'm just going to copy and paste this prompt directly in. So the prompt states this, and we'll tell you a little bit about what we're working on. We are pretending as if we have walked into a new business as the new HR leader. Well, when we walk in, we know everybody's first thought is, let me get the lay of the land. So what we're doing in this prompt is saying, okay, Aaime, I want you to act as my HR onboarding assistant. I'm taking over HR at a small business. I don't know where to start. Help me create a checklist to assess the current state of HR. What should I be looking for? So
Great question. Yep.
while we let her go, we'll see how quickly she can do this. We see that she is searching her knowledge first. And she's even identifying, oh, well, welcome to your new role. Well, thanks, Aaime. Appreciate the personal nod there. So as we're going through and seeing what her responses are, it really will not make a difference if you have a paid account or a free account because Aaime is utilizing her knowledge. But what we're seeing is that she's doing exactly what we asked for. She is creating a little HR audit checklist for us to start at the beginning of, okay, let me get my feet under me. Let's see what's going on in the business in a few different categories. So it's talking about documents and policies. We then see her rolling into staffing and employment practices, comp and benefits. And then I think we should do a quick pause. If everybody takes a look, if you can see in here, she has some little links. If you can't see, come in and check out these recordings after a while so you can see the live demo visually. It's really impactful. But under these comp and benefits, you can see that she is starting to pull in information from our benchmark surveys, our salary budget survey, our national benefit survey, our paid holiday survey, so that when you're going back to your leadership team and saying, hey, here's what's going on, and maybe we need to consider making adjustments, and here's why I say that, this is what the rest of our state or the US has been doing in this particular area.
Yeah.
I'm
I
coming
like
back to
that.
the
Here's what I
conversation
like
with
about
data.
that, right? Having practiced HR myself for, 25, 27 years, um, I want to know when I take things to leadership that I'm not getting it from some abstract website
Mhm.
information bit somewhere. So if I'm a member of AIM, I have this available and so much more. And I'm able to go forward to leadership with reliable data that I can back up. In the case of AIM, I have lots of resources as a member that lets me back this up. If you're not a member of AIM, you can still trust that the information that you're going to be provided is coming from a source or an organization that's 125 years old that's been focusing in this space from day one. And that is one of the biggest concerns that people have when they are working with AI. One is protecting their information, and then two is knowing whether or not the information they have is reliable. So you solve that problem in that bit. I also want to just point out, because I did see a question and you mentioned it, but I want to reference it again. Our friend Martin, who listens every week, good morning, and thank you, Martin, for your question, is you do not have to have a paid account. Is that correct?
Correct. You don't have to have a paid account, but you do have to have an account. So you can go to ChatGPT and just type things in without signing in, but in order to use Amy, you do have to have an account to access her. But again, no payment required.
Great.
Yeah. So after we go through some of these different things, you can see she's rolling down to performance and compliance and culture. And she's always going to give you that next step. Do you want this in a downloadable format? Do you want to identify a training session? She'll give you some different suggestions, and you're always welcome to reach out to our team if you need a little bit more tailored or human support. We are happy to do that. So what I could do next is I could take a specific area. I could take and go back to my prompt guide and say, okay, here's what I went out and found. Now help me do the next step here. Help me prioritize. Help me find where our risks are. So again, these guides are built to help you no matter where you're at in the AI usage process. And whether you're a daily user like Phil and I are, or you're someone who's never touched it before, we've really tried to meet you where you're at and give you actionable, buildable steps to continue thinking strategically and moving from that tactical AI use or no AI use into a really strong user and asset for your company. Yeah.
And what I like about what you just showed is really within a matter of minutes, we've only been talking a few minutes for it. We have a pretty comprehensive list, right? I want to review that. I might ask it to break it down. I might ask it to give me subtopics under those particular topics for more detail. Excuse me. But I couldn't have created it that fast myself, writing it on a sheet of paper. Pardon me.
Completely
Lauren,
agree.
do you have time to do another prompt for fun?
Yes, let's do it real fast. So now I'm in Tuesday's guide, again, all available on our website. And this time what we're doing is let's change it over and let's focus on development for just a minute. So I'm going to come over, let's start a new chat with Amy, because remember, she's not remembering anything that I've done in this last chat. We will go ahead and start fresh. So let me refresh my screen here. Let's get one more demo going. Back into Aaime Hart we go. And now we're asking her to switch gears and do a little bit on development. So this is my beginner prompt. Now this one, we've given the opportunity to say, hey, I've got a high potential employee moving for leadership. Because I don't have time to enter in some specific information, I'm just going to say, help me develop an outline for their plan and move forward. So again, I think this comes back to the more specific you can be, the better prompts you give, the more specific information you'll get back from her. But what she's doing is saying, okay, here's some different development areas that you really need to consider. Let's focus on self-awareness and EQ, communication, decision-making, strategic thinking. Let's make sure they've got some business acumen behind them and provide them with some different opportunities and resources. So it's helping me go through, create my plan, again, to fill steps. While we probably know all of these things, time is always a challenge. No one ever said, boy, I just have too much time on my hands. This is a great way to move forward from the tactical to the strategic in a way that saves time. It's helping us work not only effectively, but efficiently. The other thing that it can do too is, and you see it right down here, is it can connect you to the projects you're working on, to either your membership benefits or other things that you can access here within AIM. So it's always just helping to connect the dots and take it that next step further for you.
Let's take this one a step further. So it's a great plan, right? Now, Amy doesn't know the individual. It's just a new person, high potential. It gives us the outline. It's referencing material and concepts developed over time, proven by AIM to help with that. And it's helping you get to solutions. So let's just say, and I don't know, we're doing this on the fly, so we'll see what kind of response we get. Say, help me draft, because it's saying, would you like to draft a formal growth plan document or align with your succession planning goals? Let's say, yes, help me draft a formal growth plan document.
All right. So
This
at
is
this point, what you're seeing her do is flip over. She is handling our request, and she's also putting this into something that we can easily download and export. While we all love copy and paste, this is really nice because I can come in and edit it. I can put in my specifics before I export, send to leadership, send to this individual or their manager to keep the process going and start that human collaboration element.
All right, so just scroll up to the top of that for a minute because it's so simple and basic, but not everyone's involved in HR, really in succession planning
Mhm.
or the overall development, particularly if we're talking about someone who might be new in HR and these concepts of succession planning and development are new, right?
Yep.
They've learned compliance, they know their FMLA, their ADA, but going into these concepts a little bit further. So it really just outlines, the name, the target role, the current role, the purpose and development of the plan. And you can ask it to give you more information in that purpose or the development focus area here of self-awareness. So let's ask it then, when what dates are available at AIM to complete some of this plan? Right? Because at some point you have to train and develop some of these people. So you just typed my broken question in, just
What
as I
dates are
said it,
available? Yep, to help. So,
right?
what it's doing is directing me to a few things. So, Leadership for Leads, a fantastic course for someone who's stepping into that first supervisory type role. It's given us some dates there. Next step up is your role as a supervisor beyond supervisor essentials. And it starts to kind of lay out what some different options are. Of course, you can't always go to our website, but who wants to do that when she can give you the answers at a single glance? So, all available through Aaime Hart. Again, super easy to use, very
So you would never be able
conversational.
to search a website that quickly. I mean,
I-
that's
yeah.
the tool here that I just love that we're making this available to the entire HR community, not just AIM members, because
Mhm.
it enables all of them to be more effective, and that just aligns with our mission and what we're trying to do. Can you ask it one more question for me, Lauren? Ask
Absolutely.
Amy to create a justification for, I don't know, supervisor essential, I think is what you said, for my manager, to present to my manager.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll notice Lauren's typos here. You don't have to always go back and correct. She is smart enough to figure out what you're saying. So don't
Well,
feel
we
like you
did
have
that
to be
because everyone knows
perfect
I
in the
can't
chat.
spell. That's right.
Absolutely. So this helps to formulate this in a way that we can pass over to a supervisor or leader in order to get the approval for those trainings, brings things in for recommended timing. And then again, it's helping us already think about that next step. Oh yeah, I need an email to introduce this, or maybe I want to send this over to have a quick chat with them about it. So always helping you to think about that next step.
Fantastic. Hats off, Lauren and team here at AIM. I mean, that's a fantastic program. I'm watching the chat here. I can see some of our members and active listeners excited to use it. One in particular here, Julie. Hey, Julie, I just can't wait for you to use it. Let me know what you think. Go to my LinkedIn page. Give me some feedback. I'm very curious what you think about Aaime Hart, how she's helping you, and let's share the good news with other people too. So, we're really building a better community of employers. Fantastic. Lauren, thank you so much for joining and sharing all of that information. So here we have it. We try Aaime Hart, watch and the AI versus AI, who's really hiring whom on demand, particularly if you're involved in the recruiting space. But if you're an HR manager, even if you're not recruiting, you got to know this is happening. It's imperative that you know what is happening in the space of recruiting, both on the candidate side and the employer side. Don't forget to download the Ready Aim Fire compensation cheat sheet that we have, and tune in next week for phase 3, which is put it into action. All right. Until then, we will be out till next week, and go out and be good to someone. Bye-bye.
Level up your HR game with an AAIM Employers Association membership. Get 24/7 expert support, exclusive training, and a network of peers. Join thousands of HR leaders building better organizations. Call AIM at 800-948-5700 or visit aimea.org today to learn about becoming a member. Thank you once again for tuning in to This Week at Work. If you enjoy the show, please like it, share it, and make sure it's on your calendar every week. Ask your burning questions anytime and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover. Just go to hrask.org and be sure to leave a review wherever you catch our show to help other HR pros find us as well. We'll see you next week when we discuss what's happening this week at work.